Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Merrymen podcast. Today, we are diving into a topic that resonates deeply with every man striving for growth and excellence. The topic is setting goals as a modern man. In today's world, men face unique challenges and opportunities when it comes to defining and achieving their aspirations. How do we balance work, family, personal growth, and societal expectations? How do we stay motivated and accountable? We have an insightful discussion lined up for you today. So I'm Daniel Shodamola, and I'm excited to be your host on this podcast. Joining me on this podcast is Daniel Osobase, and he's an ambitious leader and a family man who is passionate about setting clear, impactful goals. Daniel, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Next, we have Akinyemi, a proud father of twins and an audit manager, balancing the demands of career and family life with remarkable focus. John, it's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And that was a very humble introduction because this is our chairman in the Merrymen. So we are humbled to have you here.
It's good to be here. Thanks, Daniel.
All right. And finally, we have Victor Ben, a driven individual with a unique perspective on staying grounded and intentional while navigating personal growth as a single man. Victor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, to kick things off, let's start with an icebreaker. I'd just like each of us to talk about any goal that you've set for the year 2025 and how you're progressing so far. And so I would invite Daniel Osobase to just give us an insight to some of the goals you have set for 2025 and how you're progressing so far with it.
All right, thank you so much, Daniel. Setting goals in 2025 is essential to the outcome of 2025. So personally, I've set some goals so that I could have something attainable for the year. And definitely, this is the beginning of a new year. We're still in January. So I'm already getting some rewards of the goals I set in 2024. At the moment now, I've got a higher position where I work. And then, and I actually know that is not the peak I need to get to. So recently I made a proposal to my team lead, and I was like, I want to take up this position as because it was an opening in the company. And I was like, Daniel, if only you could do this, do that, and this. And immediately I picked all of those responsibilities up because I really want to have that position in the organization and also get a higher offer along the time in the year. So generally, this is one of the goals I've made for my career. And talking about upskilling myself, taking a lot of courses, enrolling in different programs. And to God be the glory, I just saw these courses coming to my timeline. A lot of goals, but let me put it up over there so that my guys could also have a contribution to goal setting and achievement for the year.
All right, thank you very much for that. I like the fact that you were able to walk up to your boss just the start of the year to propose taking up a new position, and then it's really working out for you. Well done. Over to you, Sir John. I'd like to hear what goals you set for the year, a few of them that you can share with us, and how you're progressing so far with it.
Thank you again for the opportunity to speak at this podcast. I think for me, 2025, to be sincere, I didn't sit down to say I wanted to set a goal in 2025. And I'm hoping that doesn't shock you because it's the idea is I do that almost every year to set a goal. Most times, maybe December before the next year, I would set the goal. Since I got married, most times I do that. I do that setting of goal planning for the next year with my wife. But we didn't do that this year. Why? Because I think largely we want to consolidate the goals that we had set in the previous year. And in a way, I think it resonates very well with what the previous speaker, that's Daniel, Osobase mentioned, that there are sometimes you set a goal and then you're hoping that you're able to achieve it maybe in the next 2 years. So the goal that we had planned or we had set in previous years was like a rollover for me, and largely I know that yes, I'm trying to just eat the alien or the end because I know that you're going to ask some other questions there. But to be very specific on the goal that I think I can share on this platform would be around becoming a better father. Um, it might look broad, but there are a couple of things I had noted that I wanted to do better. Maybe some of the specifics I'm going to share. And the way I've progressed so far would be being there for my family more than in previous years, and also having a routine prayer for my children as well. So it's not just generic prayer. So before now, most times when I'm praying for my children, because they're twins, I tend to just say, mention their names and pray for them together. But I think I attended a program earlier this year or towards last year, which made me understand the need to pray for them individually and try to mention them specifically in my prayers. I think that's something that I've started to do. So I'm progressing on that. During my prayer time, I try to ensure to do that individually for both of them. I think that's something that's been beautiful for me to see that I've progressed in that aspect, and it's more like a fallout from previous year's goal, becoming a better father.
Oh, well done. Thank you very much for that. It's interesting to know that you're able to balance being a father with many other things, and to see the progress I'm making with that already. So over to you, Victor Ben. I'd like to know any specific goal you set for the year and what progress you're making on it.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniel. One of the major goals I've set, I mean, there are many goals actually, but one I'll be willing to share here is I set a goal to improve my data analysis know-how, right? So I sort of picked out like 4 data visualization tools that I need to learn within the course of the year. So I just spread the 4 across the 4 quarters of the year. I've started one a little bit. I mean, just the beginning of the year, not anything too serious, but I mean, gaining traction by the week here. So that's one major goal for me here.
All right, thank you so much. I'm not just going to try the questions. I'm going to share just a bit of mine. So for me this year, out of my goals, I'll say my financial goal. One of the things I've made up my mind to do is to spend less and save more, and I see myself achieving that gradually, and I believe that if that habit continues, I will be able to achieve my financial target for the year. All right, so without wasting too much time on that, I like to, this topic is setting goals as a modern man, right? And do you think anything has changed in the previous years to how people set goals and to now? And also, what would you say, which mentor, book, or experience has shaped the way you set your goals? Some of us, it might just be the books we've read in the past. For me, I just read a book by Miles Monroe when I was much younger. All the ambitious spirit he puts into his material, it just makes me feel like I need to take my life so seriously. I have to plan every year. You have to know what you're doing every time. So do you want to share with us what book, mentor, or experience has shaped the way you plan or the way you set your goals? I would start with Osobase.
All right. Well, it's always a shock to always be the one to start anyway. But let me eat it the way it comes, right? Well, basically, I set my goals based on reality. I see, like I look at a lot of people. Beyond reading books, I also look at people's life and I set my goals. But it's good to let us know on this platform that goals should be flexible. Yeah, having your goals flexible is not a disadvantage. No, your goals should be flexible. And I try to follow reality news, although I still need some books. Recently, I got some books on Ryan Bonky, and then I was like, okay, let me just go and read how this man was so much motivated to go on into the ministry and all. However, Um, I could put a good example to the goal, I think, like in the US and what's going on there. And different people just have to come to realization to adjust certain goals based on the new administration. I could give an example I saw from CNN today about so I don't know the CNN, but I got it online anyway. Some India parents went for an immediate CS so they could put to bed before February 11th. Um, that's the deadline for the new policy, which is although not yet fully approved anyway. So you could see this is a family who had to change their goals based on the country's policy. So personally, my goals could be flexible depending on the situation.
That's very interesting. You just brought in the Trump administration and how a lot of people can set their say family planning goals around it. I'll move to Sajona. I want to know, is there any book or any mentor that you would say has shaped the way you've been planning your life every year over the year that shapes that lifestyle for you, sir?
I think early on in my career, one of the first things that helped me to shape my goal setting um, abilities was maybe some 10 years ago when I read the book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I think that book really changed my life. I mean, when it comes to putting in the work, seeing things from a different perspective, a lot of things I learned from that book. The paradigm shift was massive. And in goal setting, he talked about looking at various areas of your life. If you recall, when I was talking about my goal, I was talking particularly to the goal as a father. So you look at your roles in your life. So what are the various roles that you occupy in your life? So for me, for instance, I'm a father, I'm a husband. Like you said, I work, right? I have a career. I also I also do a couple of things in church and all of that. I do some things for people also. Um, as you mentioned, in Merrymen, I'm also running this NGO. So I have goals for these various roles in my life. And because I have these various goals, so that book was one of the things that helped me to or shaped my perspective of goal setting. And since then, it's been much easier for me to be able to plan for the year or plan for a couple of years because of I've read that book and using that particular perspective has helped me. There are many times I may not be able to achieve the goal, but the fact that I have those rules clearly set in my head, it helps me to fall back on to know, gauge myself and say, okay, what's my progress level? Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank
that's
you
it.
very much for that. Seven habits of highly effective people. That's very profound right there. Thank you very much. I have a different question for you, Victor. And my question is around challenges. Challenges to goal setting. A lot of people set goals year in, year out. And setting a goal does not really guarantee accomplishing that goal, right? If you agree with me. So my question to you is, what do you think is one of the common challenges that affect a lot of men in achieving their goals, and what would be your recommendation, briefly?
Okay, I'll say that tracking goals really. I mean, for me, I think that's a great way to really shift the needle from just setting goals to achieving your goals. Right. I just came around the random post online on Twitter. And I saw somebody talking about that was 2024. He was talking about how he tracks his goals that he has set, and I think that for me just was a eye opener to just say, oh no, you want to achieve your goals, you have to track them. It's not just by writing them; you have to break them down from goals down into daily tasks, things that you can track on a daily basis, things that you can track on a weekly basis, things that you can also track on a quarterly basis, so that you don't go throughout the year thinking that, oh, maybe you're doing some things, and then you now wait till the end of the year before you can look back and say, hey, how did I feel? By tracking those goals on a weekly basis, on a quarterly basis, you can be able to see what is not working and how you can re-strategize such that you're not having an averagely productive year. You can have a better year, or I mean, a far much better year than if you, for instance, wait till the end of the year for you to assess how you are doing on your goals. So being able to effectively track your goals I think for me is a game changer.
All right, thank you very much. So being able to effectively track one's goals, and just also like Sir John said earlier, he says you just having the goal at the back of your mind also helps you to put yourself in check from time to year to time as the year goes on. So thanks for that as well. I'm not gonna dwell too much. We don't have all the time, and I'm just gonna give like two more questions and we're done. I'll direct you to Sir John right now. So I'll give a little brief about what people don't know about you. You have you're wearing a lot of caps. You're a father. You are a choir master. I don't know that if that side of you is very popular. Of course it is, but I mean, I've not mentioned it on this video, on this podcast. A choir master. You are not just a father of twins. You are an audit manager. You are the chairman of the Merrymen, and you probably hold some other functions that we don't even know about. So aside reading books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I'm sure you look at yourself and you try to analyze what differentiates you from every other person. When you look at yourself, like what would you say makes you more effective with achieving your life goals?
I think one word that would resonate with some of the roles that you've mentioned is values. Having your values clearly set out would help to ensure that your goals are correct and well aligned. There's no point having to climb a step or climbing a ladder fast when it's leaned against the wrong wall. I think I was able to get that early on, knowing what exactly is the wall, what is the most important thing in my life, and then ensuring that my values are around that. So I'm able to set goals around those things. I think that has stood out for me. And yes, I mentioned the fact that I read books, but aside from reading books, one thing that I've fallen in love with very recently, which a number of my friends, you guys will know, is listening to messages. And it helped me because that particular part of my life has helped me to align my values correctly. And it's easier for me to, there are a lot of things that I may have read in the past that the messages helps to straighten, and I'm going to say, so this is actually how it works, this is how I can actually live it out. So basically putting God first, just pointing it as clearly as possible is very key for me. So most of those roles that I hold, I ensure that they are around what it means to put God first and making Christ the best example possible. Yeah, so I just make those things important to me.
Thank you. So reading our books, listening to messages, and by messages you mean sermons, and also some people will say listening to podcasts, some people will say listening to but of course listening to the people that you want to be like or that inspire you, I would say is one very important step to achieving goals from based on what you've said. And also praying and putting God first, like the Bible says, I know the letter, but it says the battle belongs to the Lord. If you can help me, the horse
is prepared for your battle, but victory is of the Lord.
Victory is of the Lord. Thank you very much. And speaking of that, Sadan, I'll direct the next question to you. What would you say? How would you say your faith has helped you in achieving your goals?
All right. So first of all, my faith is strong believer conviction in the salvation of Jesus Christ, and it has honestly helped me in achieving my goal. I could backdate a lot of occurrences to my encounter with Jesus Christ, and several times we had to talk and pray. So definitely, my name is Daniel, and then I try to understand the personality of Daniel from the Bible, and then I've always quoted that when I was younger and used certain of these principles as a benchmark to my achievements, which is excellence. So I try to align myself constantly to the excellent spirit in Daniel, which I try to also invite myself in. But specifically, when you talk about faith, my faith makes me to believe that I'm not born to be a mediocre, and wherever I am is just the beginning of where I'm going to, no matter where I am in my level. So I see every platform as an avenue to grow, to develop. Someone once said something that, Daniel, as soon as you are getting a job, begin to apply for a higher position. And that does not just apply to job, it applies to your professional career. Possibly you're learning a software. As soon as you lay your hands on it, start exploring other software that could be linked, so that in multiple organizations you can be relevant. And then that is one thing I always do to myself. Wherever I find my relevance, I try to broaden my paths and learn more things and start pushing for more things. And it has really been a good plus of attaining excellence in anything I do.
All right, that's great. I like that you referenced Daniel in the Bible. Anyways, we can both reference Daniel as one namesake. And of course, using Daniel in the Bible is a very, very good example, because God definitely makes all the difference. Even the things that you've never envisaged and planned, I believe that you will be able to do much more than you've imagined. Like the Bible says that He's able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to His power that works in us. And so, of course, the God factor is a very, very important factor in achieving our life's goals. And so, yeah, thanks a lot for the contribution so far. So at this point, without taking us further, taking much of our time, I want to throw a question out to every one of us. This is January 2025, and God is going to spare our lives to the end of the year. A lot of people are out there, and they are wondering how they're going to. They're just wondering that this year is just starting again. They're just going to live through it again. And probably some people don't even have a goal. Some people are really struggling with their life, with their goals for the year. I want each of us to just share something brief to somebody out there on an advice on how to achieve your goal for 2025 and even live a fulfilled life basically in 2025. So I'll start with Victor Ben on that.
Okay, I'll say just start anywhere you are, right? Doesn't matter where you are. Just basically just have to start, right? This is the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. So no matter what has happened, you just have to just pick up yourself, reflect, and then make the right adjustments. Don't sulk. Yeah, it's okay to cry. It's okay to imagine what would have been if you follow through on the goals, if this and this all happen together. But there's no time for that. Just pick up yourself, re-strategize, and then plan and hit the ground running. Figuratively, just see the ground running. Set across to ensuring that you do not keep going round and round in circles. The only way to go from now is up, even if you're on the ground. So do well to ensure that your strength into improving yourself, get all the skills that you need. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So start where you are and then do well to improve your skills and better yourself. Thank you very much for that. Over to you, Daniel Osobase.
Okay, I think I just have to wait for this. First of all, this is 2025 and you're just starting. What I'll tell you to do, which I did, is celebrate your previous achievements, your previous goals that were achieved. First of all, celebrate it. And then secondly, I will also quote something John Akinyemi keeps saying. You dress like your testimony. You dress like your next goal and see yourself achieving it. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Interesting. I'll recap that again. You said the last thing you said was dress like your testimony. As
okay,
like where you're going to, like put yourself in that consciousness.
And the first one, celebrate your past achievements.
That's very, very profound as well, because when you feel like you've not made much progress, you feel like if you only look at the stagnant side of you, you will not be encouraged to do more. So remember the things you've achieved and celebrate it, and to encourage you to do more. Thank you for that. So over to you, Sir John. I want you to just share with us, like a chairman that you are, dish it out to us.
That showdowns, please don't put me on. Don't put me on. All right. I think there's a Chinese proverb that says that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today.
Mm.
You have to first know where you are, acknowledge that you are somewhere, and know the time of or the phase of life you are. My point in mentioning that is don't plan or set goals because your friends are setting them. Don't plan or set goals because every other person is setting them. Make sure you do so because you understand your timing. The scripture says the children of Issachar, the reason why they were special is because they understood times and seasons. Once you're able to understand your timing, you're not going to be running with another person's clock. There's that Yoruba proverb that says that. I'm sure that if you're Yoruba, you would know how the proverb actually goes in Yoruba. Talking about running with somebody else's clock or someone else's timing. I'm sure that Yoruba quote should be in your head right now. It's fine for you to quote it if you can speak it. Anyways.
Unfortunately, I'm the only Yoruba person that should be able to speak that. Nothing comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind, yeah.
Don't worry. The person that is listening that it comes to mind, they will understand.
I'll find it online and see if I can put it.
All right, so straight to the point. Yes, you must know that time in your life, and then set your goals based on what it is, that's where you are, the phase that you are in. And once you are able to do that, don't be too hard on yourself as well. Set something that's realistic, and where you're not even able to achieve it, if there are goals that you can roll over, be open to rolling them over. And push to achieve it. I'll give you an example. There's a goal that has been in my goal list for maybe like 3 or 4 years that I was able to tick off last year in 2024, and that was a professional exam I wanted to write. And life happened. I wanted to do it maybe 2020, 2021. It's been there. I couldn't do it because I had to prioritize other things. So we're relocating. I needed to put money in other things. I needed to put money in maybe my wife's plans as well, and all of that. And those things I had to then push. And when I had to achieve the goal, achieving the goal was even a lot easier than I could have imagined. So my point is, don't be too hard on yourself. It could just be maybe the timing is not right, and that's why you've not been able to achieve that particular goal that you have been. But please don't give up, right? Just put in the work, still put the goal down there, and take the step, like Victor Ben mentioned. Take that step. Yeah, that's my word to you.
Thank you very much. At least I remember, if I can't remember the Yoruba quote, I remember the first quote which you gave when you started. You said the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, and the other best time is now. That's very, very profound. Thank you very much for that. So that I don't sound like I don't have anything to contribute to this conversation, I want to also add the fact that a lot of the goals that we see a lot of people achieve in January were set in the previous year. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to understand that some goals are meant to be more than 12 months. You don't have to jam pack everything into 12 months because that's the calendar year that has been provided. You can be fairer on yourself by giving it a fair timeline to help you achieve your goals. And also, if you look at the way God created us, He didn't create everything in one day. In Genesis says, on the first day, second day, third day, fourth, and on the seventh day, God rested. So God literally wants us to break our lives into bits. You can't do everything at once. Break your life into bits, and we'll be able to achieve our goals. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for the contribution so far. And I believe that somebody out there is really, really going to be inspired by everything we've shared, by both by our personal experiences and by our recommendations, and by just doing the little things that add up to the main goal. I believe that a lot of us will be able to achieve our life's goals. So thanks a lot, Daniel Osobase. Thanks a lot, Sir John. Thanks a lot, Lord Ben, for this beautiful, insightful contribution.